So let's talk a little bit about Uncle Phil. One thing I want to tell you first off is that Uncle Phil, I'm not actually, let's see, what's that word I'm trying to say? Related. I'm not actually related to Uncle Phil. It's just kind of his humorous, affectionate nickname because of his age now. But I want to give you a little backstory about Uncle Phil. He and I are good friends. Love Uncle Phil. But Uncle Phil's from Michigan, and he born and grew up there, and he lived in a few different places. I know one of them was called Walled Lake, W-A-L-L-E-D Lake. And Uncle Phil doesn't always tell you a real direct story about everything he's done, but I've kind of pieced it together. And Uncle Phil, for one thing, Uncle Phil has a slight learning disability, so it's real hard for him to read or write. So he's always been kind of floating around on the fringes, I guess you could say, of life. Working where he could and just kind of trying to take care of himself. And so that'll explain something else I'm going to talk about a little bit later here. But anyway, so he is been kind of just making his way through life, and he lived with his parents until they died, and that was when he was in his 30s, I think it was. 65 now, so I'd say sometime in the early 80s, I think his parents both got ill and passed away, so he was living with them, and he lived with them, as far as I know, through his entire adulthood until that point. And then he got to get out on his own, and so he worked at Pontiac Motor Company when that still when that still existed. He worked for Pontiac for a while, and then sometime about 30 years ago, him and some friends of his, family friends, decided to move from Michigan down here to Alabama. He said that things were too expensive and too bad off in Michigan, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I don't really think you made a big improvement there, bud, but whatever. So anyway, he's been down here for about 30 years, and he worked for a place where he was servicing small engines. He got a job there, and I think right before that, the first thing he tried to do, him and his buddy that moved down here tried to run a pizza place called Phil's Grill, which failed because neither of them knew jack squat about running a business, I guess. But like myself, I don't know anything about running a business, so that didn't work. So anyway, he went to work for the place working on the small engines and repairs like that, and he did that for quite a long time. And I knew Phil off and on back then. Back about 20 years ago, he'd come into where I used to work at an office supply place, and I mean, I knew him just in passing. I wasn't close friends with him then. And so, he's just always was kind of on the fringes there. And then about 1998 or so, I moved into a rental house that a guy had, and lo and behold, Uncle Phil was moving into the one behind me, right next to me. So I got to know Uncle Phil a lot better then, because we were neighbors. And I don't know what he had before then. He told me a lot of different stories about cars he had, but I know in 1998, 99 or so, Uncle Phil was driving he had about a 86 Nissan King Cab pickup, and he had a Camaro, about a 85 or 6 Camaro V6, just a little base, coupe, I guess it was. And that's the one we were in the junkyard about a year ago, and I had him do the little funny thing where he acted like he burned himself. That's where that came from. But and then he had a couple Mustangs. I got him into Mustangs. So he had like an 89 Mustang GT, and then he had a 93. And then he had a couple V6s, and he had several Chevy pickups. And I don't know what got him into that stupid Kia, why he wanted a SUV all of a sudden. that's kind of the range of cars he's had. And he's always rented, and he's always lived with roommates, and he's that one that he's had for several years now. Was from Michigan also, but didn't come with him originally down here. And so, but anyway, Phil has always had, you know, he's always lived kind of a rough life. I think he's basically a good guy, but he's always surrounded himself by these people that are about as bad off as he is. In fact, they're worse off than he is. You know, they don't work. A lot of them don't work, or a lot of them don't have a place to live, and don't have any money and stuff like that. So he's always giving them a place to live and stuff like that. Of course, the roommate is a jailbird. He's been in and out of jail, been in jail most of the last year, and I think he's back. But anyway, Uncle Phil's been a good friend. You know, I try to help him out. But one thing I've learned about Uncle Phil over time is that, you know, you can try to help Uncle Phil, give him advice, and explain things to him, and at the end of the day, he's not going to take it. You know, he's just going to do things on his own, and, you know, I've learned to accept that, and so I don't get too involved in what he does. When he has problems, if I can help him somehow, I will. But, you know, I've tried to counsel him about his finances. You know, he's on disability. Tried to counsel him about his finances and about all this little town called Henniger. It's a wide spot in the road. But about all these, you know, check loans and stuff. VW sitting there. Sorry about that. Got distracted. All these check, you know, he gets into these check loans and title loans and stuff like that, and he's just got swamped with them, and we've just went over and over and over and over and over all this stuff about how to help him get out of this stuff, and at the end of the day, it never works. You know, he doesn't want to change. So I said, okay, you know. So right now, what's going on with Uncle Phil? Uncle Phil's been driving the Plymouth that I guess I long-term loaned him. I guess he'll probably end up just probably giving it to him, I suppose, but sorry. He's been driving it, and he has not really had any trouble out of it, except that the brakes started going out on it, so he had to put brakes on it, like brake drums, brake shoes, master cylinder, some things like that. But that was going on, but the worst part, what's going on right now, he's got two bad things going on. And like I said, excuse me one second, I gotta clear my throat again. Yeah, I love that Alabama weather. It's so dry down here. So anyway, he's got two bad things going on right now. One is that his stupid ass Kia, which I advised him to never buy that thing. Well, first off, I advised him I wouldn't have bought it. And then, second thing, I told him he ought to sell it as quick as possible, so he's not done that either. But anyway, that thing just went down again. The carrier bearing went out in it, and that happened a couple different times about the carrier bearing. It's got a two-piece drive shaft on it, so that went out, and then it took the center U-joint out finally because he didn't ever fix it. And that's the thing about Uncle Phil. Uncle Phil talks a good game about keeping stuff fixed. You know, he'll get on to me for not doing something, but then he's worse about it. He won't spend money he'll spend money on check loans and stuff like that, but as far as like just buying something to repair a car, getting any money out of him to do something like that's almost impossible. But so he evidently ran it with the carrier bearing going back out again the second time until it took the U-joint out. So now the whole drive shaft's screwed up and he can't drive it. And on top of that, what's worse than that is that he's got to move from that, which I think is not a bad thing, but he's got to move. They're kicking him out of that mobile home up there where he lives. You guys have seen that mobile home several times. they're kicking him out because they want to move the mobile home. So anyway, they're trying to get him to move, and he's doesn't have money to move, really. Doesn't have a place to go because his budget for rent is about $250 a month. And even down here in Redneck, Alabama, $250 a month barely gets you a roof over your head. So, I mean, there's nothing I can do to help him. I'm not going to support him financially. I can just barely support myself financially, so I'm not doing that. We're not getting into that. So he's on his own. So anyway, says the key is the only thing that he can have to move in, even though I said, Phil, I'll offer to rent you a truck if you got to move. And he said, oh, yeah, okay, I'll let you out, yeah. No, he never said anything, so. That's what I'm saying. He agrees with the last person in the room, last person talks to, but the reality is he's not going to do any of it. So I just dropped that. Whatever, okay. Don't rent a truck then. I'm not going to worry about it. It's not my problem, is it? So anyway, so he's trying to work that out. So he's been beating the bushes for the past week and a half trying to find a used drive shaft, which there are no used drive shafts because those dumb old things, everybody's already had drive shaft problems with them, so they snap the drive shafts up because they don't service the front and rear U-joints in those for whatever reason. You have to replace the whole drive shaft. So anyway, so that's going on. So he's been trying to find drive shaft. He's been to every self-service junkyard around here, none to be had because he got a 5-speed and drive shaft different. You can't find a 5-speed either. So he's basically screwed. He's to the point he's going to have to spend money he doesn't have to either buy another drive shaft or have that repaired. Last thing I told him, I said, Phil, I said, bud, I'm going to give you the number of this place that works on drive shafts. I said, that's about your only option right now because you've wasted time and gas to try to find a drive shaft and there's none to be had. They're not out there. So I did go look over at that Wilderness junkyard when I was over there last for a drive shaft for him, and I couldn't even find one of those vehicles. So, and I told him, I said, Phil, I said, bud, look, I said, you ought to get that thing going, get it fixed up, get the air conditioner working on it, and sell that Sorento as quickly as possible. Get out from it. Just drive that Plymouth. I said, you're retired. You don't have that many places to go, which is. Uncle Phil, unfortunately, is one of these habitual drivers. He drives all the time. He's the guy that goes, like I just said, picks people up, takes them to there, takes them here, helps them, he tries to, he thinks he's doing a good thing, and I bless his heart, but, so he runs his vehicle to death, and I keep saying, I said, Phil, do these people pay you gas money? He used to say no, they didn't, and then I started getting on to him about that, and so now he automatically says, oh, yeah, they pay them, they give me gas money, probably wrong, but anyway, I advised him, I said, before something else happens to that thing, I said, just drive that Plymouth, man. And he, of course, he agrees with me. Oh, yeah, it's gone, I'm selling that thing, I'm tired of that, I'm selling it. You mark my words, he won't do it. He'll get it fixed this time, and it'll still be there. Whatever, but that's what I'm saying. I try to help him and try to advise him, and he doesn't like that really because I'm the voice of reason. See, I'm the one that tells the truth about stuff and advises him what the reasonable thing to do is, and everybody else he hangs around with are the ones that just want to do the fun thing, and they just prompt him to do, oh yeah, let's buy this. Oh yeah, let's go get another check on. Yeah, let's borrow this money. Yeah, let's go here. Let's go. So he likes that better than the opinions I have to offer, I guess. And like I said, I offer to help him all this. I offer to help him find a car to buy. I offer to help him work his finances. I offer to help him change his banking around. And he won't react. And he agrees with me, but he won't react. I said, bud, you got that motorcycle that you don't ride very often. I said, you can sell that and pay off all this stuff. And, you'd be in the clear. You wouldn't have all this check shit to worry about. And, it needs to go. Yeah, it needs to go. I said, okay, well, call me and I'll come down and take pictures of it and I'll post it for you. Because he says, well, I can't sell it around here because everybody wants to do payments. I'm thinking, yeah, well, you can do a payment, all right. They'll wreck it and won't make the first payment, just like Uncle Phil's roommate wrecked my Isuzu that I was going to sell Uncle Phil before they ever made the first payment in a year. So anyway, yeah. So did I ever hear from him about taking pictures of the motorcycle? No. So I said, well, I guess you decided not to sell that motorcycle. He says, no, I'm going to sell it, but I can't. Everybody wants my payments. I'm getting so upset. I'm thinking to myself, bud, we just went over that. You know, get out of first gear, Uncle Phil. So what that tells you, that's, you know, when you hear stuff like that, you have to understand that people are just talking to hear their heads roar. He's not interested. He's not really worried about selling a motorcycle. He's not really worried about getting rid of the Kia. He's not really worried about paying off his checks. He's not really worried about his roommate, who's a worthless turd. He's not worried about any of that, actually. He likes to complain. He's like a lot of people. He likes to complain and have somebody listen to him about the things that are bothering him from time to time. But as far as doing anything about it, no, he's not interested in that. So anyway, moral of the story is I try to help him and try to, you know, do what I can for him, because I do care about him. He's a good guy, and, you know, kind of shocked that that place used to be, it's closed down. It used to be a going concern, a good barbecue place. But as I was saying, you know, I'm almost kind of surprised, as hard a life as he had, he's even still here. You know, I mean, he went for a long time, didn't even go to the doctor, and then when he did go, turned out that he had some stuff going on that should have been tended to. But he's a funny guy, you know, and I just have to not get, you know, I guess I have to detach myself from his personal things going on. And he's doing pretty good. He doesn't involve me in it very much, so that's fine. You know, he's just, like I said, he's just not interested in, you know, is kind of blunt as it is to say it, he's just not interested in my help most of the time. He likes to help me, but he doesn't, you know, he's just one of those folks that's just pretty, he wants to be self-sufficient. And, you know, as I was saying, I said, but, you know, I said, I've invited you down to work on your car several times. I said, you've never come down. You know, you've been in town, you've never even stopped by or anything like that. And I think it kind of embarrassed him at one point, but, you know, he says, well, he says, bud, he said, I know you work a lot, and I don't want to, he says, I know you work a lot, and I don't want to bother you, and I don't want to do, you know, I tell him, I said, Phil, I said, I work daily, I said, just a normal schedule, but I said, I'm around on the weekends and in the evening. I said, you're not bothering me. You know, people, and there's another little thing to keep in mind. When somebody says that I don't want to bother you, or they say that I don't, you know, I know you're busy, what they're saying to you, that's code words for something else. What they're saying to you is I don't want to come down and do it, whatever it is. I don't want to come down. I'm just being nice by saying I know you're busy. When somebody says I know you're something or you're doing this, they don't really know that. They're just trying to spare your feelings. And what they're basically saying is I just didn't fucking want to come down. That's all. I didn't want to come down to your house. I didn't want to come visit you. I didn't want to come hang out with you. I didn't want to come work on the car. I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to be around you right now. I'm busy myself and I don't have time. So I'm just going to be nice about it and say, well, I know you've been busy. I didn't want to interrupt you. I didn't want to bother you. Quit bothering me about it. Quit asking me to come down. Quit asking me to do anything. If I want to come down, I'll tell you I'm coming down. It may be a month, it may be a year, but I'll let you know when I'm coming down. Otherwise, forget about it. Forget about it. All right, guys, I'm about out of time on this segment. I gotta climb the mountain here. Hope everybody has a good day. Later, man.